The DD40AX is a 6,600 horsepower DD diesel-electric locomotive built by the General Motors EMD division of Grange, Illinois for the Union Pacific Railroad, nicknamed Centennial and Big Jack. The DD40AX uses two diesel engines and is the most powerful single-unit diesel locomotive ever built, although more recent locomotive designs such as the GE AC6000CW, EMD SD90MAC and the China Railway DF8C have come close. It is also the longest single-unit diesel locomotive ever built. Description: in 1969, Union Pacific was retiring the later gas turbine electric locomotives. Union Pacific had ordered Emd Dda40X and Dda35X to replace the turbines, and the Dda40X was a further development. 47 were built between June 1969 and September 1971, except the first one delivered in April in time to participate in the celebrations of the centennial anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, driving the Gold Spike Limited and arriving in Salt Lake City, Utah, on the morning of May 10, 1969. The units were numbered from 6,900 to 6,946, with 6,936 still in service. The DD40AX is 98 feet long. The frames were fabricated by an outside contractor, the John Moore Company of Chicago, since the frame length exceeded the abilities of EMD's plant. Using more than one prime mover in a single locomotive was not new. The E-Series were popular dual-engine locomotives, and Baldwin had produced a locomotive with 4 diesel engines. The X in the designation stood for experimental, as the DD40AX locomotives were used as the testbeds for technology that would go into future EMD products. The modular electronic control systems later used on EMD's -2 line of locomotives were first used on the DD40AX. The locomotive was the first to be able to load test itself using its dynamic braking resistors as an electrical load, so that external equipment was not required. The DD40AX used the wide nose cab from the FP45 CAL units. This design was superficially similar to the Canadian Comfort cab introduced by Canadian National soon afterwards in 1973, but it lacked the structural reinforcements introduced in the CN design that were carried over to future wide-nose cabs. As the DD40AX program was a test, a number of experiments were conducted during the service life of these locomotives. One such test included fitting a few of the units with air raid sirens to warn trackside personnel when away from grade crossings, but the results were inconclusive. Another of the tests included successful modular electrical components. This made for easier diagnosis of electrical problems. These modifications were used in all future locomotive units built by EMD. All DD40AX units included a new load test circuit, allowing units to load test without a trackside load test box. Gearing was 59:18, allowing 80 miles per hour on passenger trains. By 1974, averaging 22,000 miles a month, most DD40AX units had run over 1 million miles and needed more maintenance. In the early 1980s, this factor, along with other issues including the higher efficiency of newer locomotives such as the SD40-2 and the national recession, led to all 45 remaining units into storage. In early 1984, as rail traffic rebounded, Union Pacific brought 25 DD40AX units out of storage and rebuilt them to return to service. 15 unserviceable units were retired in June that year. All DD40AX units were retired by May 1985. Number 6936, however, is still in service with UP, though mostly in excursion service. Original buyers. Surviving examples. 13 examples survive, including one unit which is still in service with Union Pacific, 6900 Kennefic Park, Omaha, Nebraska. 6901 Ross Park, Pocatello, Idaho. 6911 Mexico Museum of Technology, Mexico City. 6913 Museum of the American Railroad, Dallas, Texas. 6915 Southern California Chapter, Railway and Locomotive Historical Society, Fairplex, Pomona, California. 6916 Utah State Railroad Museum, Ogden, Utah. 6922 Cody Park, North Platte, Nebraska. 6925 Stored Chamberlain, South Dakota, on Dakota Southern Railway. 6930 Illinois Railway Museum, Union, Illinois. Used as a control cab only. Engines and motors are currently non-operational. 6936 still in service with Union Pacific Heritage Fleet. 6938 North Little Rock, Arkansas. 6944 Museum of Transportation, St. Louis, Missouri, sent to Altoona in July 2014 for cosmetic restoration, which was completed in May 2015 and is now back on display at Museum of Transportation, St. Louis, Missouri in June 2015. 6946 Western Pacific Railroad Museum, Portola, California. The last ED40X built. This locomotive is fairly complete non-static display.